I think we should take a drug test prior to the debate. I do. I think we should. Why don't we do that? I don't know what's going on with her. But at the beginning of her last debate, she was all pumped up at the beginning. And at the end, it was like, oh, take me down. She could barely reach her car. So I think we should take a drug test. Anyway, I'm willing to do it.
That from Trump in New Hampshire yesterday, and that something is, quote, going on with her. Bruce Lavelle is Executive Director of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump, and he's my guest out of Atlanta. Sir, how you doing? And welcome back here to America's Newsroom. Thanks for making time on a Sunday. Well, what is that all about?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Take a drug test.
Well, I think it's a fair question. You know, Ms. Clinton, unfortunately, and just for the record, our prayers go out to her, you know, on her health if there is something going on, first off. But most of all, she does have, you know, a history of being a little wobbly, looking a little confused in some of her interviews. So I think, you know, for example, I have business owners who own companies here, and to drive a forklift, you have to take a drug test that you won't injure anyone. So I think it's a fair question for the American people to...
What in the world would you test her for?
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, at the end of the day, that will reveal itself to what could be going on. And once again, I think it is really fair to the American people to, you know, to vet part of the vetting process to see if the next commander-in-chief is of good sound mind and good health to lead this nation.
I don't know if it's ever been done before. You're serious about this, right?
Well, you know, like I said, I think it's a fair request. You know, for example, President Obama was a strong smoker. You know, the question is him smoking cigarettes. Is there anything going? So I think, once again, it is a very valid question to ask, especially if a candidate, he or she, has some record of, you know, looking, you know, a little wobbly or a little unhealthy. So I think it's fair.
I took his comment more rhetorical than anything else. That's the way I heard it.